For those who clicked because of the thumbnail, yup, a Buddhist sex cult did exist in the 12th century. Kiara Session's spicy tendencies in FGO might seem like the author's wild imagination, but it's based on real history. The cult was called the Tachikawa Ryu, a branch of Shingon Buddhism. Back in the day, this sect got a bad rap for practicing some seriously wild rituals involving sex and skull worship. This led to its downfall during the Edo period. Most of what we know about Tachikawa Ryu comes from its haters who accused them of some pretty insane stuff. Since their documents were lost or destroyed, these critics mostly shaped the cult's reputation. And maybe this is where Kiara gets her inspiration. Her cult-like background, with parents she left or lost, and her belief that sex is a path to enlightenment, mirrors these historical tidbits. But hey, some scholars are rethinking the whole story, trying to get a clearer picture of what the Tachikawa Ryu was really about and its impact on Japanese Buddhism. Given all the lost documents and rumors, we can't be sure. So next time you see Kiara in FGO doing her thing, just remember sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. And that's what we're doing today. I'm going to show you the weirdest part of some of the Chaldea servants that you thought were just made up by developers or authors. Turns out to have a real-world basis. Grand Servant Noah in FGO is depicted with a feminine face and long white hair. While this design choice might because it appeal many masters, Noah's appearance is actually based on by the fragment of the Book of Noah, chapter from the pseudepigraphal Book of Enoch. Here's a quote from Enoch 106. 2. And his body was white as snow and red as the blooming of a rose, and the hair of his head and his long locks were white as wool and his eyes beautiful. So it's no wonder he looks the way he does. Let's talk about everyone's favorite head nurse, Nightingale. Florence Nightingale, the OG Angel of Mercy, was legendary for her compassionate care. She became a total icon during the Crimean War, earning the nickname the Lady with the Lamp because she patrolled at night to check on wounded soldiers. On the battlefield, Florence was sharp-tongued, headstrong, and incredibly brave. Basically her berserker self in FGO. She famously zeroed in on the patient in front of her, using this mental trick to handle the stress of being a battlefield nurse. That's why in the game, she's always super focused on the task at hand. And her behavior of trying to amputate body parts on the spot? Well, it's a bit exaggerated, but there's some truth to it. Before antibiotics and antiseptics, chopping off gangrenous limbs was often the only way to save a patient from a slow, painful death. Let's shift gears and talk about a famous figure from Asia. Okita is one of the well-known saber faces in FGO, but she has a paler theme compared to the others, and she's not even an alter. This isn't just because the artist wanted to make Okita stand out from other saber faces. Historically, the real Okita was noted for being very good-looking. Maybe before Takeuchi thought of parodying the saber face design with Okita, he imagined the most good-looking face he liked, which was Artorias, and Okita's tuberculosis probably helped with the beauty standards of the time. You know, pale skin and coughing between sentences were actually considered attractive in some eras and places. Plus, Okita dying in his early 20s also adds to his popular perception. His illness might be why Okita's theme is paler compared to other saber faces. As a result, many works of popular fiction depict him as beautifully feminine, using actresses to portray him, or even outright gender-flipping him before FGO did. There's this moment when Arjuna is genuinely puzzled over Aśvatthāman's constant state of anger and wonders if it's because of a calcium deficiency. At first glance, Arjuna's comment might just seem like a random joke since he can be kinda blunt without realizing it. And Aśvatthāman's rage might just seem like a character trait designed to make him stand out in the story. But If you think about it, his anger might actually have a real-world basis. I mean, I'm not 100% sure, and it's just a theory, but it makes sense when you consider how Aśvatthāman was too poor to buy milk when he was a kid. Let's talk about another epic Indian warrior, Lakshmibai. Maybe it's just me, but I only recently discovered why she looks so much like Jeanne in the game. It's because her story is super similar to Jeanne's. I thought calling her the Jeanne d'Arc of India was just because of her game design. But nope, it's based on real-life history. I'm embarrassed for thinking that way and only now finding out. Anyways, she's an action woman fighting to free her people and is honored for it. In the 1857 Indian Rebellion, she refused to give up Jhansi to the British, defended the city, and led its defense in 1858. Her bravery made her a national hero and an iconic figure in India's fight for independence. In fact, one of her lines in the game, "If you have Jeanne," mentions how they'd get along because of their shared history of fighting the English. Speaking of female warriors, you surely know this one heroic spirit, Bradamante, one of the Paladin Knights. She's quite famous among fans for her cute designs, from her tall and curvy figure, her skimpy but cute outfit, and her long twin-tail style hair. While Bradamante in various writings is said to have a cropped hairstyle and looks like a guy, so where did her long hair design come from? Well, actually, Bradamante's long hair already exists from the legend of her origin. It's just that there are writings that say that she had a head wound and had to be treated. Because this wound must be sterile, the hermit who takes care of her must cut her long hair until she has short hair that looks like a man. Sure, maybe the artist who designed Bradamante just wanted to show off her cute side, giving her long hair and twin tails. But in this case, one has to wonder why Caesar, who lived during the 1st century BC, wears a necktie. I mean, look at this guy. He's rocking a white shirt with a red tie. Turns out, there's a real-life basis for this. It's actually a visual representation of the neck scarf worn by Roman legionaries. Since Caesar's design in the game makes him look a bit chubby, putting a scarf on him might have looked less appealing because, well, we wouldn't see his face properly. So, the artist probably swapped it for a red tie to keep that Roman soldier vibe. Plus, there's a saying that the scarf design came from the Column of Trajan, built in the 2nd century AD. In case you didn't know, the Column of Trajan is a Roman triumphal column in Rome, Italy, celebrating Emperor Trajan's victory in the Dacian Wars. The column's carvings show Roman soldiers wearing neck scarves. Even though this happened after Caesar's time, some believe the scarf was around during his era, making the whole thing a bit anachronistic. I hope it was an enjoyable video, but did you know there are tons of absurd and weird things written by the authors in the Fate series? Just click the video on the screen to find out more. Oh, and don't forget to hit subscribe to keep me pumped for making more awesome videos.